Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk to you about the Disney Channel movie, The Descendants. I know what you're thinking, why is this lady talking to me about kids' movies? Well, I don't know. This movie is coming out this Friday. It might actually be today by the time I get the video posted, but who knows. This Friday, July 31st, on Disney Channel. It's also going to be rerunning Saturday morning and Sunday night. This Disney Channel movie is basically about all the classic Disney characters and their children. Mostly their children. In this movie, at the beginning, it's explained that Belle and the Beast are the rulers of the kingdom Aradon, which is where all the Disney characters live. None of the villains live in the kingdom, however. They were all banished to an island called the Isle of the Lost. Basically, in the movie, Belle and Beast's son, Ben, is a prince and he's about to be crowned king. The first thing he wants to do as king is bring in some of the villains' children off of the island into Aradon so they can go to school with the rest of the kids. And this obviously causes a lot of stuff to happen. If you like Disney Channel movies, you're gonna like this movie. If you like Disney Channel musicals, you'll like this movie because this movie is a musical. Watching this movie brought back a whole bunch of Disney Channel nostalgia for me. I haven't watched the Disney Channel in quite a few years, but I have been keeping up with their movies through Netflix. I don't know why, I just really like watching the Disney Channel movies. Seeing the very beginning where Prince Ben is talking to his parents, for some reason reminds me of the Princess Diaries. I don't know what it is about it that reminds me of that, but it does. It's really interesting because the first musical number, when I was listening to it, for some reason it reminded me of The Hollywood Show, which is a channel here on YouTube that does parodies, and it specifically reminded me of their Doctor Who parody. And I'll link it down below, so if you haven't seen it, you can watch it, and if you have seen The Hollywood Show, you're gonna like that musical number because it just reminded me exactly of them. And if you like that musical number, you should check out The Hollywood Show because they do some really awesome stuff. There's 4 teenagers of Disney villains that are featured in the movie. So the first one is Mal. She is Maleficent's daughter. The second one is Evie, who's the evil queen's daughter. The third one is Jay, who's Jafar's son. And the fourth one is Carlos, who is Cruella de Vil's son. Now, the fashion and the style for these villains is really interesting to me. It's kind of funny. Seeing Carlos brought back instant memories from Zenon. You guys know Protozoa? His hair reminded me so much of Protozoa's hair from Zenon. It's like Protozoa's hair in the second one maybe, where he didn't style it into the spikes. That's what it reminded me of. Obviously, their style and their clothes, their hair are all kind of influenced by their parents. So it makes sense that his hair is bleached blonde, but that's what it reminded me of, was Protozoa. And there are a bunch of other moments in the movie that reminded me of other movies. Right at the very end, there was a sequence. It reminded me so much of the very end of the second Cheetah Girls. And looking into it, I realized that the director for this movie is Kenny Ortega, who also directed the Cheetah Girls movies and the High School Musical movies. And he's directed a ton of Disney movies, and they've all done really well. So it doesn't surprise me that this movie came out the way that it did. If you're a little bit older and you've seen older Disney movies, is this movie gonna be better than all of those? I can't say that for sure. It'll definitely bring back nostalgia for all those Disney Channel movies that you might have seen before, but I can't guarantee that you're gonna like it more than any of the other ones. One thing I can say is that the adults in this movie are a lot funnier than adults in most of the Disney movies. Usually in Disney movies, the adults kind of just, so you know, they're just there. The cast of adults that they put in this movie, especially for the villains, are hilarious. And I think that's partially due to the fact that you have Kristen Chenoweth and Kathy Najimy as 2 of the villains in this movie. The interaction that the villains have with each other is hilarious. And it was a standout part for me in the movie. I never remember any of the adults in any of the other Disney Channel movies. Some of these adults are really funny and they're really memorable. I should probably talk a little bit about Prince Ben because he is the other main character in this movie. He's again the son of Belle and the Beast. He's just this really charming guy. He kind of takes after his mom in seeing the best in people and believing in the best in people, and they kind of mention that in the movie a little bit. Some of the other teenagers you can expect to see in there are relatives of Cinderella, Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs, Mulan, the Fairy Godmother. All these people are in this movie. If you just want a really easygoing, nostalgia-filled movie, you'll like this movie. Now, obviously, this has much more of a Disney Channel vibe than a Disney vibe. It's called Disney's Descendants. It's very Disney Channel. I am going to say one little weird thing is about like the filmmaking aspects. If you're not interested in that, this might not really interest you. But they did this kind of odd thing in Ardon where they kind of blew out and blurred out the highlights while in the kingdom, and I think that was to give it sort of like a magical feel, but to me it was just a little bit distracting. That's probably just me personally because I really like filmmaking and I like the lighting aspect of it, and so that's just something that I noticed. So yeah, basically this movie, if you're looking for nostalgia, watch it. If you don't like Disney Channel movies, you're not going to like this movie most likely. You might appreciate it for some of the nostalgia, but you're not going to like it. It's not for any sort of serious plot. One major plot hole in this movie is the fact that all of the Disney characters are alive at the same time. So a lot of the Disney movies take place in different times in history. Obviously, like Mulan and Beauty and the Beast don't take place at the same time in history, and yet both Mulan and Belle and the Beast are alive at the same time, and their kids are the same age. So that's obviously something that they're overlooking for this movie, and I'm actually okay with that, because honestly, it's all make-believe, and you can do anything you want in the Disney universe, and so that doesn't bother me personally. They ended this movie kind of implying that they plan to do more with this. Like I said, Kenny Ortega has directed the High School Musical and the Cheetah Girls movies, and I can definitely see this movie kind of going in the same vein as those, where they do sequels of them. I definitely think it's better than the Teen Beach movies that they released recently. If they do more with this universe, I think it'd be really interesting if they add in more children from the villains. Some villains and villains' children I'd like to see them incorporate in the future would be Cinderella's stepsister's children. So that would be Cinderella's nieces and nephews. I think that would be hilarious, especially if they had to move in with Cinderella. I think that that's just like cheesy Disney Channel movie, like, gold right there. I also think it'd be really interesting to see if they could incorporate Ursula's children, maybe. But yeah, overall, I think this movie is really fun and entertaining, and you should watch it. If you like Disney Channel movies, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and tell me in the comments down below what kind of villains you'd like to see and what villainous children you'd like to see in any kind of movie like this. And if you want to see more of my face, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm going to do more videos, and I'd love for you to stick around. Bye!